Hello everyone, I'm Gio. I hope everyone's having the best blessed day possible today. Today is Monday, August 12th, and I'm having a good day. Just please do me a favor, please hit subscribe, please like, share, comment, anything you guys can do, just show me support. It's greatly appreciated. So I've had a very pretty interesting weekend, like a really good weekend. Today especially was great because I had my prayer group today, then I had Bible study, and anytime I have all that time with God and all that time with good people that I get to be around, as far as the prayer warriors and as far as like my Bible leader, Karen Macrina, who's kind of my mentor. She's the one that really teaches me so much, and I'm eternally grateful for this woman and what she does for me. But but I've learned a couple like really insane, like really big lessons. So the first thing that I really want to talk about is this weekend, it was my daughter's wedding. My daughter got married. She's 25 years old, and she got married on Saturday. She married her high school sweetheart, and I couldn't be more proud of her. But the thing is I didn't get to go to the wedding, right? I didn't get to be there. And the part about it is like, okay, so when I went to rehab back in March 2023, I went there with the whole entire idea that I wanted to be at my daughter's wedding. That was everything. That was my entire purpose of life, because it was always said to me that even though I missed my daughter's 16th birthday, even though I missed her graduation because I was in jail for all these things, even though I missed these things, if I could get myself better, these were direct words that were said to me. If you could get yourself better, maybe you can be, then you can be at her wedding, and you can still be a part of that. So for me, the thought was that, being that I did miss, my daughter is so important to me. I love her with all my heart, and I was a big part in raising her when she was younger. But then, just the addiction part of my life just took control. It took over me, in a way that I couldn't be around my children any longer, and I fell like out to the streets. I was homeless for years. I'm in and out of jail. I don't have a job. I'm doing what I have to do to support my habit. I'm living a life of an addict, a life of crime. Every day I'm committing crimes to support my habit, and I'm doing everything wrong. My life is just an entire mess. Every part of my life is a mess. I have not one thing really that's going for myself. And and for a long time there was no hope. You know what I mean? I didn't see a way out. I couldn't put anything together. I couldn't get anything going for myself. So, but there was always a thought, that okay, I disappointed my daughter all this time, and that I have to be there at her wedding. So when she told me she was getting engaged now, and then I went and I checked myself into rehab, and everything was about, I have to be here at my daughter's wedding. I wrote a letter to the courts, a letter to all the courts that I had cases out of, because I had 6 open cases in 6 different courts. And the part that I talked about my daughter is, okay, so my family got sick of me long ago and are not part of my life. I've been trying to please all the wrong people. My oldest daughter, Jasmine, which I had such a big hand in raising to be an amazing person, her boyfriend proposed to her on Thanksgiving Day. And due to my struggles with addiction and life as a whole, I have missed every important moment in my daughter's teenage and adult life. Everyone said for me to get myself better and I'd be able to attend her wedding. That time is now for me to become a productive, contributing member of society, because if I fail and miss her wedding, then my life will no longer have a purpose. I said that, my life will no longer have a purpose, right? So, and then I have the, that manifestation journal that I was doing, which I found out what shouldn't exactly do, but in there every day, I'm writing over and over again. Inspiring successful addict in recovery, walking with God towards a happy reunion with his daughters. So the happy reunion with my daughters was thought of that it was going to be this wedding, and that's the last most important part of that. That's what I was thinking, the wedding. But every single part of everything that I was doing, every single person that I have spoken to, whether it was someone in jail, whether it was an inmate or a guard or anyone at rehab, I ran into this lady that kind of did like social work and stuff when I was in jail. She came there, her name was Sean, and I think she works for Beacon Center, but only part-time or whatever, but she'd come there and she would talk with us and everything. And I ran into her recently, and her first question was, your daughter's wedding. Because this is what I talked about to everyone, is that this is the reason I'm doing this. I have to be at my daughter's wedding. This is the reason I'm doing this. I have to be at my daughter's wedding. I have to change everything about myself so I can be there at my daughter's wedding and have her be proud that I was there. So now it came up and her wedding just passed and I wasn't there, so now this, it could have been, that could have broken me. That's what my daughter was worried about when she told me that it wasn't a good thing for me to go, because she was thinking of my youngest daughter, who I haven't seen since she was 7, how hard that would be on her to have to deal with all those feelings and emotions at her wedding. You know what I mean? Because she was my daughter's maid of honor. So, and that would have been a really hard situation. I didn't know how that was going to go. That's obviously on my mind as well. But the whole thing about the whole entire situation is that, it really didn't even bother me. You know what I mean? I don't know how I can even say those words out of my mouth, but it didn't, I didn't feel bad about it. I wasn't really upset. I wasn't anything. Of course I wanted to be there. Of course, I would have loved to have been there. But the whole thing is that now I have this greater purpose. Let's say I had went to the wedding. Let's say that I had went there and it went okay, or I don't know how it would have went. It could have went terribly, and then I would have left the wedding being upset because it went bad, and then what do I do next? You know what I mean? That was the purpose of my life. That's what I've been saying for the past year and a half. The purpose of my life is to be there for her at her wedding. Now her wedding's over. What do I do now? You know what I mean? What would be my purpose now? Would I get depressed and just fall back into addiction because now my purpose is gone? What do I have now? But instead, since now I live my life for God and I have the Spirit in me, which is what I'm coming to realize more and more and more, so tremendously, how much I realize how much the Spirit is in me, that it isn't even a problem, because now I have this greater purpose, and with God, I have this greater purpose in life now, to make these videos, or even just to minister to people and to try to spread God's word, that it's made everything okay. You know what I mean? That's how I know how much the Spirit is in me now. That's how I know that I'm doing good and I'm doing the right thing and I'm doing everything, because this thing that could have broken me, and it would have broken me in the past, it absolutely would have. Especially, my thought could be, I put in all this work, I did all this, now you're not going to let me go to your wedding. I could have made it hard on her, but I didn't do any of that. You know what I mean? I told her that I thought it was amazing that she was thinking of her sister first, that she was putting someone else first, because that is something that I would do. I don't want to make my youngest daughter uncomfortable. I don't want to put her in that situation. Somehow I had put it together in my head that, that we would see each other and she's going to run up and hug me and say, "Oh, Daddy, I miss you." Something like that. But, that's probably unrealistic, and that's not going to happen at this moment, So I just instead have to turn to trusting God's timing for things, to know that God has my best interest in heart, in mind, and He knows what's best for me, and to know that that was not the right time, you know what I mean? And that there will be further interaction, you know what I mean? Because my daughters mean everything to me, and I want my youngest daughter in my life more than anything, and I want to get to know her again, and I want to, I want that more than anything, and I pray, almost every day that happens, and I pray for her health and well-being, and her family's well-being, and everything like that. But, and my oldest daughter, I want a better relationship with her. We have a minute relationship now. We talk, randomly here and there. We do talk and everything, but I would like a more developed relationship and stuff with her. And I know that will come in time. But instead now I have a greater relationship and a greater purpose, and God, that it made all of this, it didn't put it on the back burner or anything. That's not really the right expression for it, but it made all this not as important, I don't know if that sounds terrible to say, or if I'm wrong in saying that, that my daughter's wedding isn't as important as it is for me to be in God's good grace, or living a life for God. But the importance of that fills me more than I believe that would. And now if I went to that and it was over, what would I have left? What would be left for me? You know what I mean? Like, so now I have this greater purpose in God, and I have everything that I'm doing for God that's driving me, and that is filling me, and that is just leading my entire life now. You know, that is my entire life. Like I have this interview coming up on next Tuesday, you know, with Trav Ingram, who runs God-Based Recovery, GBR, God-Based Recovery. He has 2 groups on Facebook, and he has a YouTube channel and everything, and he does a segment called On the Spot, where he interviews people and they basically give a testimony of their life, you know, and how they got to where they're at. And I'm so excited for it. You know, I'm going to start writing up a whole entire thing, and I'm going to have it all ready, and I hope it goes amazing, you know, because this is truly what I want to do. You know, before I went to rehab, like prior to going to rehab, I was telling everyone, you know, I'm telling the drug dealer, literally, like the cab is at the house picking me up to bring me to rehab, and the drug dealer pulled up in our driveway, and what he said to me was, he said, world's leading motivational speaker on addiction. That's what he yelled out to me, you know, because this is what I was telling everyone that I was going to become. After I went to rehab, that I wanted to become the world's leading motivational speaker on addiction. That's what I wanted to become. That was my goal for life. You know, that's what I literally was saying to everyone that I wanted to do, you know. Now I have this channel. It's not anything tremendous yet, but I haven't put in all the time and effort that I need to in order to make the channel actually grow and to do the things. But I really want to do that, and I really do see this as the direction that I want my life to go. So is that like a realistic goal? You know, I don't know, but I don't know that it's not either. You know, I don't know that I can't become that. I don't know that I cannot, you know, like I'm going to try. I'm going to make that be the goal for my life, to become the world's leading motivational speaker about addiction. And it's going to be all God-based. You know what I mean? It's going to, because without God in my life, I don't know where I would go at this point. You know, now that I lost my other purpose, the other thing that I was living for, that I put all my focus in, that was driving all this change in my life, you know, the thing that, like, I just did all this, you know what I mean? Everything I did, I got my whole entire life in order, you know. I addressed every single problem that I had in my life, every single issue that I was having in my life, you know, whether it be my health, having doctors, you know, my credit, having a job, you know, all my fines, all my courts, just everything that I had that was wrong in my life, being homeless, not having possessions, not having clothes, not having, you know, not having my family in my life. I hadn't seen or talked to my grandmother in so long. Now I do a video chat with her nearly weekly. You know, I talk to my mother a couple times a week. You know, I have contact with my daughter. You know, I literally have changed everything. I can walk down the street and feel good about walking down the street. Like if a cop drives by, I wave to a cop. Now I wave to them when they walk by. A cop comes into Yeti's where I work, you know, I stand there and talk to them for a minute. Before, if I see a cop, I'm having to hide. Like I'm having to disguise myself, who I am, because if a cop sees me, they're coming after me, and I know this, you know, and every cop knows who I am. So I literally have changed all of that. I have changed the narrative about me completely. I changed every single person that I associate with, the group of people. I have a church that I go to now every week, that I go multiple times a week to. I have a bunch of church parishioners, is that what they're called, that I text with daily, that I talk with. You know, these are the people I now have in my life. I literally changed every single thing about my life. I got my teeth all taken out. I got my teeth fixed. You know, I worked on my health. You know what I mean? I've kept my weight off. I've really focused on just every aspect of my life I could think to focus on. Now I'm working on getting my license. I'm trying to get all these last little fines, everything paid off. And I had a lot of stuff going against me. And there was points in time where I said, I'll never work on my credit again. My credit score doesn't matter, because I will never even be thinking about even getting a credit card again. Now I got 5 of them. Like, I'm trying to focus on every part of my life that matters and change all of that, you know. And the initial reason for all that was because of my daughter's wedding. That's why the change spurred, you know, me wanting to change. And then I undertook, God speaking to me at the moment that he did. And I learned a lot more about that situation too, that I will share with you guys in this next video, about the moment that happened and why it happened and everything. But by that happening, and by me then reading the Bible in jail, and by me, you know, just everything that I did from that moment on, because I said I was going to live a life for God from that moment on. And I changed everything about myself, how I spoke to people, how, you know, just everything about what drove me in life prior. You know, before that, it was all about being cool. You know what I mean? Like, I had to have people like me. I had to look a certain way to people. I had to be tough when I'm in jail. You know what I mean? I had to, like, just everything about that changed. Then I didn't care about none of those things anymore. You know what I mean? I didn't care how people looked at me anymore. All of a sudden, I had this newfound confidence in myself that it wasn't based on what someone else thought any longer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool because I have God in my life, and that makes me cool to me. You know what I mean? And if you don't think that's cool, I really don't care, you know? And that's such a cool feeling to have. And I could never, ever say that before. Like, before, I would be scared to say that to anybody. But now I will scream it from the top of the roof. I'll scream it from mountains. I don't care. You know what I mean? Because that is what fills me, and that's what my life has become about, and that's what drives me, and that's how I can make these videos and be so happy and feel so good. That's how I go to work every day, with such conviction that I'm going to be the best worker that there's ever been on this day. And that's how I work every single day. I remember in jail when I became the kitchen worker. You know, they have one kitchen worker in jail. When I became that kitchen worker, when I got brought down to the kitchen for the first day, I told them, I'm going to be the best worker that you've ever had. I will be the best inmate worker that you've ever had. And within a week's time, they literally said that to me, that you're the best worker that we've ever had. Those words came out of their mouths. Like, I know that I have that ability to do that. You know, not everyone necessarily has that ability, whereas I do have it. And now I know that I'm going to do that you know what I mean? That's who I'm going to be, because I don't have anything else distracting me. I don't have the need to have a drug that's going to drive my thoughts. You know, that's the thing with using drugs. Like, let's say I went to work, and now I know when I get out of work, I'm going to go get this, and I'm going to get high. Now, all of a sudden, I'm rushing to get out of work. Now, work seems like it's a pain now, because, oh, I got to do this too, you know. But now that I don't have that, now I want to do all the extra work. I want to make sure I get everything done properly. I'm not in a rush for anything, you know. And I noticed that before, you know, that when I had that, you know, I mean, even though, like, let's say I'm not using it at work or whatever, but I'm gonna use when I get out, now all of a sudden everything at work just seems harder, and it seems, you know, just harder to get things done properly and stuff. And I'm just rushing. But now I have no desire to get out and do something, obviously. So I can put in all the effort needed for everything that I do. And I really, really like that, you know. And I really like just waking up early in the morning and watching the news. That's something I've never done before. You know, that I'm trying to learn about Trump, and I'm trying to learn about Kamala, because I want to vote for the first time in my life. I've never voted before, and I really am going to plan on voting. I already know who I'm going to vote for, but all these things are different and new to me. And, you know, but the thing is that I have the commitment now, you know, and I have the drive. Like, I have not canceled one Bible study. I missed one prayer group because I overslept, but it was in the dead of winter, and they were like happy I overslept. And they said that they felt like it was God that made me oversleep, because it was dangerous for me to ride my bike. And at that time I was coming from Mohawk. But, you know, aside from that, like, I've been committed to everything that I've done, and everything that I do. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm there and I do it, you know, and that's different. And I couldn't do that if I was using, I couldn't do any of that. So it all does feel amazing. But just a couple last points I just wanted to share with you guys. Just a couple verses from the Bible that point out, you know, what I'm trying to say to you and the thing that I'm trying to get across to you. So right now, from Romans 12:1-2. And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Okay, so if that's not a perfect verse for me, I don't know what is, you know. But don't copy the behavior and customs of the world. You know, that's what I was really bad about, you know, because I'm going to just try to fit in everywhere. You know, that was really, really important to me for so long, to fit in and just to be liked by people, you know, and that's what drove me for a very, very long time. But I let God transform me into a new person, you know, and that's exactly what I did by changing the way I think, you know, and I completely changed everything, the way I think. I'm reading to you from a Bible, like everything about me is different now, and then I'm learning God's will for me, you know, and I'm learning that it is good and pleasing and perfect, because I was able to overtake, you know, that adversity that I just had to go through, and I came through it with flying colors. You know, I came through it stronger for it, realizing that I can't be I can't be knocked down, I can't be brought down, you know what I mean, like I can't, like the biggest thing that was important to me in my life got taken away from me, yet I didn't let it bring me down at all. I didn't let it knock me back, set me back at all. No, I kept driving on. I kept focusing on what my goal is in life. You know, how I said about being the speaker, I kept going, you know, exactly the way that I was going. I did not let that deter me at all. You know, I didn't have a bad day because of it. I didn't have even a bad moment. You know what I mean? Like when it first got told to me, you know, I listened to some worship songs, you know, and I prayed and stuff, and that did get me through. Like at first it was a little bit like, you know, it's tough news to hear, you know, but I prayed, I listened to my favorite worship songs, and I came through it really, really quickly, you know. And then I had a talk with Karen Macrina, the lady who does the Bible studies with me. And, you know, and I came through it really, really quickly, you know, and I'm stronger for it. Like I really, really am stronger for it. So the next verse that I want to read to you is from Corinthians 13:7. And that is, sorry about this. Corinthians 13:7. Lord never gives up. Love never gives up. Never loses faith. Is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. Okay, so love never gives up. Never loses faith. Is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. Okay, so I just endured through the circumstance that I went through. But I still do. I have love for God. Always, my love will never give up for God, and it will never also give up for my daughters. You know, I'm never going to lose faith that I will have my daughters back in my life the way that I would like them to be. You know, I'd like them to be able to come over and hang out with me for Christmas. I would like, you know, all those things, and that's what I'm working towards. But I'm never going to give up that faith that it will happen, and I'm never going to give up my love for God or my faith in God. That's for absolute certain. From this point on for the rest of my life, this will be the person that I am. I am always hopeful. Anyone who knows me will tell you that they don't ever see me like down, you know what I mean? Like I really do live this way, you know, like the way that I sound to you guys, the way that I sound over all this is how I am to everybody at all times. Like I really, really am this person always. And anyone, if you ask anyone I work with, they will tell you this. Like they will tell you that I really am always, you know, never in a bad mood. I'm never cranky. I'm never short with people. I'm never even, I don't have any sort of like times where like my owner says, you know, like we'll be like crazy busy, and she'll be say, I didn't hear you slam one thing, you know, she'll be like amazed that I didn't even get frustrated even for a second, and I don't, because I have God inside me now. I have the Spirit inside me that drives me and that leads me and that allows me to do everything, and allows me to do it all wonderfully, amazingly, because I am better at, you know, my job now than I've ever been. And I believe that whatever I did, I could be the best at right now. I really, really do. Just because of the fact that God is driving me, and the fact that God is with me, and the fact that the Spirit is with me, and just all of that. Like it's an amazing feeling, and it's amazing. So I am going to endure through every circumstance. And then the very last thing that I wanted to share with you was from Acts 20:24. Maybe. Okay, Acts 20-24. My life is worth nothing to me unless I use it for finishing the work assigned to me by the Lord Jesus, the work of telling others the good news about the wonderful grace of God. Okay, so again, my life is worth nothing to me unless I use it for finishing the work assigned me by the Lord Jesus, the work of telling others the good news about the wonderful grace of God. Okay, so like I said, had I went to that wedding, had that been my only purpose in life, then what would be my purpose now? What would be my purpose? If I didn't have this purpose of telling, the good news about God, if I didn't have that purpose about sharing this purpose with making these videos, this purpose with doing all this, and my only purpose was to go to this wedding, and be there for my daughter just to show her that I would be there, because I miss everything else, then my purpose would be over, and now I wouldn't have anything to drive me from that point on. But instead, like Acts 20-24 says, my life is worth nothing to me unless I use it for finishing the work assigned me by the Lord Jesus, the work of telling others the good news about the wonderful grace of God. So let me tell you, everybody that's possibly watching this long, 24 minutes into this video, that was Acts 24, we're at 24 minutes. The good news about the wonderful grace of God is that he really can get you through anything, like I was, to me, everything in the life was, my life had really been about my daughters. That was the one good thing that I did in my life, that I've done a lot of things well, but the one thing that I did that I was proud of, the most proud of, was raising my daughters when they were young, because I raised them good. I loved them with all my heart. And I was really, really good about the things that I did with them. You know what I mean? Like, I raised them to be strong. I taught them to be strong. And my oldest especially, because I had more time with her, raising her when she was younger. But it's a lot of the things that I did, that were really, really strong things, and like the couple that ring a bell to me most importantly were every single time my daughter was ever on a stage. I never missed anything. I brought her, I'd signed her up for tap and ballet, and I brought her to every single practice. I went to every single thing. She did it for 5 years, and it was when my ex was working, so I was the one that brought her to all of her practices, and I did all this with her. But anytime she was ever on a stage, whether it was her kindergarten graduation or whether it was her dance recital, at 5 years, when she got done performing or done with whatever she was doing on stage, I would scream, Jasmine, as loud as I could, to scream her name as loud as I could. So now she hated it. It would, bother her, but at the same time, she absolutely loved it. And, to my thought is that I showed her that she was more loved than anyone there, and that she was more special than anyone there, by me doing that. And I didn't care where it was or what it was that we were doing. I did that, for her. And then the other thing that I did that was really, really great with her was when she was probably about 5-6 years old, we went to Great Escape. We used to get seasons passes, and we would always go, and I would just bring her, me and her, we would go, on a day whim to just go all the time. And all of a sudden now she was tall enough to ride the sky coaster. She was still really, really small, but for some reason that ride, you don't have to be that tall because of the way they strap you in or whatever, whereas you can't ride on a roller coaster at the height that she was, but for some reason she could ride on this. And she said, I want to do it. So boom, I signed us up, and now we're on our walk up to the platform. And all of a sudden she starts bawling. I could see it in her eyes when she started to put her stuff on, started to put the little suit on that they put you in, that she was starting to tear up. But then on the way up, she starts bawling, and I just walk right up with her, and we go, and she's getting strapped in. The lady's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I said, she's fine. She's fine. And I didn't say anything. I let her get strapped in. We went up, got dropped. And she absolutely loved it. She had more fun. She loved it. And now from that moment on, she had to ride that ride every single time. And there was never an ounce of fear ever in her again from that moment on. So by me doing, like I could have given it, oh, you don't want to do it. Okay, babe. I could have felt bad because she was crying, but no, I knew that she would do that and like it. So by me doing that with her and doing that, I took away all the fear of everything. She's went skydiving a couple times, I took away all of her fear, and she never ever had to have fear. So that gave her a lot of strength that I didn't have growing up. I didn't have anyone to do that for me, and I showed her love, and I really really, like, I put her first, like, for so long of my life. You know, we used to do a thing where we'd go searching for playgrounds. I would work, I'd get up, I'd go to work 6 to 2, 6 to 3, I'd pick her up from school, and we would go look for a new playground. You know, sometimes we would drive 2 hours away to go find a playground, then we'd go from dinner and go home. Like, and I did this with her almost every day. So I really, really put her, I did a lot for her. You know, I probably did too much for her. I spoiled her quite a bit, but I really, really tried to just make sure that she knew how loved she was and how great that she was and how special she was. So, but then, you know, then I fell out of her life and I made her life so hard and so tough. So then everything was just, you know, I had to be there for her wedding. And that's what my mind thought, you know, was that this is, you know, she's the only thing in my life that matters, and everything else in my life was nothing. You know what I mean? I had nothing. I would build stuff up. I'd lose it all. You know, I'm in and out of jail. Like, I'm an embarrassment. You know, I'm living an embarrassing life. You know, I've overdosed times. You know, she knows this. You know what I mean? And it's terrible. You know, it's amazing that I would let myself go the way that it went, you know. And just really, really embarrassing. You know, I got caught stealing from jobs. I had so many just bad things happen. You know, if you Google my name, some point I was gonna make a video about Googling my name and just share with you guys, you know, the stories about the stories that are there when you Google my name. You know, because there's a couple different ones that come up. But I'll share with you, you know, the story behind the article that's there. But that'll be another video. So. But everything was about that wedding and being there. And then the fact that that wedding could come and go, I couldn't be there. And I was just, I'm okay. You know what I mean? I'm okay. Of course, I would have preferred to been there. You know what I mean? I'm not happy I wasn't there, but I'm happy that I'm okay to not be there. I'm happy that it's not going to deter me at all, and that I have this other purpose, this greater worldly, you know, even, what's the word I'm looking for? But, eternal purpose. You know, now I have that, you know, because life is eternal and you live forever once you go to heaven. So I do have an eternal purpose now that I live for, and it feels amazing. So you definitely want to have God in your life. You definitely want to do that, and you definitely want to accept God and start living for God now, because, you know, it's the end of times are coming. It's really, really, if you look at everything that's happening in the world, I'll make another video about this coming up, you know, all the crazy things with the storms and just everything, all the fires, just, there's so many things going on in the world that are, you know, kind of like laid out, you know, that this is what's coming for us. So, well, I love everyone. I appreciate everyone. If you by chance ever stayed and watched this whole entire video, because I did ramble on a bit from where I wanted to go with it, but I do love and appreciate you so much. Please hit the subscribe button. Please like, comment, share. Anything you guys can do to show me support is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. I love you all. God bless you all. Remember that as nice as it is to be important, it is infinitely more important to be nice. I love you. God bless you.